2166 Shiva, 2.
Say that again.
Chief Mu demanded, not daring to believe her ears just now. Mu Hanyan turned to look at her and calmly repeated.
I brought him here because Shiva instructed me to. In no way.
Chief Mu's jaw dropped.
When did that happen? When did Shiva contact you? It happened right after your clash with him ended.
She replied.
Bring me the man with the golden aura. That was Shiva's exact instruction, word for word. Seriously.
Chief Mu sighed out loud.
Why didn't you tell me something this important beforehand? What's the point? If Shiva wanted you to know, they would have contacted you. Wait, then what about my daughter? Did Shiva also ask for her?
Mu Hanyan nodded.
Did Shiva tell you why they wanted to see them? No.
Chief Mu clenched her fists and muttered.
I don't care what happens to that man, but if anything happens to my little girl, relax a bit. I doubt Shiva would harm them, especially Yuan. I know Shiva's never harmed us before, but I cannot help but have a bad feeling about this event. It's too sudden. Shiva is an existence beyond our comprehension. There's no point trying to understand them or predict their goals.
Mu Hanyan turned to stare at the crystal tree with a profound gaze. The last time Shiva contacted us, it was to instruct me to leave White Hell and find a partner. And now, after millions of years, just as I reunite with Tianxia, they reach out again. This cannot be a coincidence. She thought inwardly. Oh, Tianxia, what in heaven's name are you, truly? Meanwhile, after many minutes of descending, Yuan and Mu Shuolian still haven't reached the end.
What's your relationship with my grandmother?
Mu Shuolian suddenly started a conversation.
We used to travel together, I guess. You guess? What's that supposed to mean? Well, I don't have all of my memories, and it was your grandmother who said that we used to travel together. Amnesia, huh? If you've traveled with my grandmother, you must be quite old. Yes and no. It's complicated. Anyway, why don't you tell me a little about yourself, too? There's nothing interesting about me. I have never left White Hell, and if I am not spending my time cultivating my physique, I'm training with my mother and grandmother. What kind of physique do you have that allows you to live within a place like White Hell?
Yuan then asked.
Sorry, but I cannot tell you.
She swiftly and firmly rejected.
Is that so?
The conversation ended there, and the two of them would not utter another word to each other for a few more hours until they finally reached the bottom of the staircase, where a small, narrow tunnel awaited them.
This is your first time here, correct?
Yuan asked as they began walking through the tunnel.
That's right. Only those who have inherited the position of chief may enter, and I am nowhere near inheriting my mother's position.
In order to take over her mother's position, Mu Shuolian would need to leave White Hell and find herself a talented partner to receive their seeds. Minutes later, they emerged from the tunnel into a dazzling light. A cavern of surreal beauty unfolded before them, its towering ceiling veined with massive roots of crystal, each faintly aglow as though pulsing with hidden life. At the center, the roots coiled tightly around a colossal block of ice, suspended in midair like a hanging lantern. Beneath the roots, at the cavern center, lay a small glowing pond, barely large enough for two people. Its surface shimmered and flickered, as though countless stars dwelled within its depths.
So, how does training here work?
Yuan asked as Mu Shuolian slowly approached the pond. She gazed at it for a long moment, as though lost in its beauty, before answering.
According to Mother, we simply need to submerge our bodies in this liquid. Is that all? Are there any special preparations or rules that I need to know before doing so? Not as far as I know.
She shook her head. Mu Shuolian then circled the pond and continued forward until she came upon a long, thick block of ice carved in the shape of a bed. Standing before it, she showed no hesitation as her hands moved to her fur robes, calmly removing them. She first pulled down her hood, unveiling her long, beautiful white hair. Then she slipped off her robes, letting them fall onto the ice bed. Yuan's eyes widened as her flawless, jade-like skin and naked buttocks came into view. To his surprise, Mu Shuolian had worn nothing beneath her fur robes. Yuan parted his lips to speak, but before a word escaped, Mu Shuolian slowly turned around. The cavern's glow fell across her bare figure, every delicate curve revealed without concealment, her beauty laid bare before his eyes. Yuan expected Feng Yuxiang's voice to resound at any moment, yet to his surprise, there was only silence. He instinctively reached out to their connection, only for his brows to twitch as he realized it had been severed. Feng. Yu Ning? Ying? Can you hear me? When nobody responded, a ripple of panic ran through Yuan as he turned his focus inward, peering into his dantian. Sensing that their presence was still there, he sighed in relief. But for some reason, he could no longer communicate with them.
Are you done staring?
Mu Shuolian suddenly spoke, snapping him out of his daze. Yuan quickly realized that he had been unconsciously staring at her and apologized.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. You can continue staring if you want, but I will go ahead and begin my cultivation.
Mu Xiulian moved to the pond and paused at its edge. With cautious grace, she lowered her foot, letting her toe touch the shimmering surface. When she confirmed the pond would not harm her, Mu Xiulian slid her foot deeper before stepping fully into the water. She made her way to the edge, saving some space for Yuan, and sat down, her body gradually sinking until she was immersed in the luminous liquid, as though surrendering herself to its embrace. Congratulations. 2167 Shiva, 3. Watching Mu Xiulian enter the pond so calmly, Yuan thought it looked comfortable, an odd sight for him. This place is supposed to temper my cold harmony. How could training possibly feel comfortable, he wondered. After all, the path that had brought Yuan to where he stood today had been paved with hardship. Unless he was consuming a treasure, every method of training he had known was grueling and agonizing, offering not a single breath of peace or comfort. I should start my training, too. Yuan snapped out of his thoughts and also began to undress, placing his neatly folded robes on the ice bed. He approached the pond and silently stared at it. Though Mu Xiulian had saved him some space, there was barely enough room for him, and it seemed impossible to train in it together without touching her.
There's not enough space for both of us, so my back will be touching yours, if you don't mind.
He said. Of course, they could take turns cultivating inside the pond, but it would take too much time, something Yuan didn't have.
I don't mind.
Mu Xiulian calmly responded. Then if you'll excuse me. Yuan entered the pond, the glowing liquid rising to embrace his body as he submerged himself. As expected, the space was just enough for the two of them, their backs pressing lightly against each other. The touch of Mu Xiulian's skin was astonishingly soft and smooth as the finest tofu. Yet Yuan immediately banished the thought, clearing his mind to focus on cultivation. Almost the moment he entered the pond, a bone-chilling cold surged through him, seeping into his core until it felt as though his very organs were encased in ice. I knew it wasn't as comfortable as it looked. Yuan cried inwardly. Yet, it wasn't anything unbearable. In fact, the pain didn't compare to his other experiences. Harmonious Heaven Refining Immortal Physique has activated. Harmonious Heaven Refining Immortal Physique has begun refining Shiva's essence. Your cold resistance has improved tremendously. Shiva's essence, is that the identity of this liquid? A year passed in the blink of an eye. Throughout that time, Yuan and Mu Xiulian remained motionless within the pond, the cavern unchanged save for one thing, a single drop of Shiva's essence that fell from the ice above, rippling into the water below. The second drop appeared almost 2 years later. A single drop of Shiva's essence would enter the pond every year, slowly refilling it, but with Yuan and Mu Xiulian absorbing it, the liquid was being exhausted much faster than it could be replenished. After another year of cultivation, Yuan could already feel his true cold harmony reaching the next level, which was incredibly shocking, considering it took him nearly 20 years to achieve true cold harmony. However, just as Yuan was about to have a breakthrough, a chilling pressure suddenly filled the room, and he could feel Mu Xiulian's body trembling non-stop. In the next moment, before Yuan could even ask if she was okay, Mu Xiulian suddenly leaped from the pond, landing directly on the ice bed. Yuan opened his eyes to see Mu Xiulian seated cross-legged on the bed, completely exposing her little sister. Without warning, luminous blue symbols began to surface on her skin, etching themselves across her body like living tattoos. Not daring to disturb her, Yuan watched in silence as the symbols shifted across her body, eventually converging into a single, massive mark upon her chest. As the symbol glowed brighter, the presence in the cavern grew heavier, clearer, almost as if something otherworldly was descending upon them. This pressure. It's the same as back in Han Zixian's cavern. Yuan clenched his fists and prepared to face whatever was about to happen. In an instant, the glowing symbol on Mu Xiulian's chest faded from sight. A breath later, her eyes opened, shimmering with a profound blue light that seemed deeper than before. And if one looked closely, they would see that the vanished symbol was now etched within her pupils.
Who are you?
Yuan spoke first, breaking the silence. Mu Xiulian didn't respond and merely stared at him with curiosity. A moment of silence later, she opened her mouth and spoke, but it was in a foreign language. Yet, for some reason, Yuan could understand it.
I am Shiva,
she said, her voice echoing with power.
the one who reigns over all that is cold. Shiva? So you're the guardian spirit Mu Hanyan mentioned. What have you done with Mu Xiulian? I am merely possessing her body. Why? So that I can speak with you. Human who wields the power of gods. Power of gods? What are you talking about?
Yuan raised an eyebrow. In response, she extended her arm, raising a finger toward him. At its tip shimmered a faint golden aura. A chill moved down Yuan's spine, and his eyes widened at the familiar golden aura.
Heaven's supremacy?
He exclaimed, so shocked that he couldn't remain seated and stood up. Although Shiva's golden aura couldn't be compared to Yuan's, it was definitely heaven's supremacy.
How are you using that power?
Yuan asked, as he always thought it was a power unique to him. Shiva gently blew on her finger, snuffing out the golden aura as though it were a candle.
What a foolish question. You are asking why a god can wield godly power.
She calmly replied.
I don't understand. I thought it was some kind of technique.
He admitted.
A technique.
Shiva's laughter rang out, sharp and sudden, only to cease just as quickly. Her expression hardened, her tone dropping into icy disdain.
Don't you dare compare our power to your mortal tricks.
Yuan clenched his fists tightly before asking another question.
When you say God, are you referring to the outer gods? Are you an outer god? An outer god, huh? That's merely how the beings of this world address us, not our true title. That said, it is true that we are gods, true rulers of this universe.
2168 Outer God's true identity.
If outer god isn't your title, then what is your true one? How should I address your kind from now on?
Yuan asked.
Your kind?
Shiva's eyes narrowed dangerously.
Bold words for a mere human. Were I not powerless in this moment, I would kill you for such disrespect.
Yuan's lips curled into a smile.
Oh, I'm terrified.
He mocked. Shiva said nothing. Her silence was heavy, her displeasure evident in the narrowing of her eyes. Yet for some reason, she held her fury in check, as though restrained by something unseen.
We call ourselves Eternals, as our existence is everlasting. Eternals, huh? So, what is an Eternal like you want from me? You possessed Mu Shuoyan's body just to speak to me. So surely, you want something from me. Indeed, I want something from you.
Shiva spoke as she slowly lifted her head to look at the crystal above him and continued.
Do you see that block of ice above you? What about it? My very essence is sealed within that ice, and I would like you to break that seal and set me free.
She said with a solemn expression.
You're sealed.
Yuan raised an eyebrow, and he immediately recalled the cavern he found at the Heavenly White Tiger clan's territory, where another Eternal was being sealed.
Aren't you an almighty god? How and who has the power to seal you in this place?
Shiva fell silent again.
I'll tell you once you release me.
She eventually said.
No way.
Yuan immediately declined.
Since you don't want to tell me anything, allow me to tell you what I think about Eternals and my relationship with them. In my past life, I have fought and defeated Eternals. Ha ha!
Shiva suddenly laughed, interrupting him.
A human defeating Eternals? That's not possible. Not even your strongest cultivators, a cultivation god, would be able to touch us, let alone defeat us.
Yuan shrugged and said.
Whether you believe me or not is up to you. Anyway, while I don't remember everything, I know that I've been fighting Eternals since the beginning. So if you think I will release you, who could be a potential threat to me in this world, you can keep dreaming.
Shiva's eyes narrowed, her voice low and edged with disdain.
Did you imagine all Eternals to be on the same side? Hardly. We are no strangers to discord. Just as the beings in this world have factions that collide, so do we. Moreover, if you're worried that I might destroy your world or something after being released, that is needless worry. We, Eternals, cannot directly intervene here. In other words, we cannot touch this realm. What?
Yuan's eyes widened with shock after learning this new information.
Eternals cannot touch the nine heavens? Why? Because this world is protected by an absolute power that even we Eternals cannot touch. It is also why I was sealed in this world. Absolute power? Can you elaborate?
Yuan asked.
No, because you wouldn't understand it. Then tell me who sealed you in this world and why they did it.
Shiva sighed.
Very well. If it's the only way to convince you to unseal me.
After a deep breath, she explained.
I was sealed in this world because of the absolute power that protects this place. Since I am sealed here, it means the other Eternals cannot help me, as the seal can only be removed with God's power. As for who sealed me here, it was another Eternal. I lost our fight, and as punishment, I was sealed here. How long have you been sealed here?
Yuan asked.
Too long.
Yuan fell silent to digest this information. So she was sealed in this world because Eternals cannot interfere with this place, and since she can only be unsealed with heaven's supremacy, she's essentially trapped in here forever, or until someone who can wield heaven's supremacy, someone like me, comes to her rescue. Sometime later, Yuan asked.
What are you going to do once I unseal you? Return to void beyond our world. If only it were that simple.
She shook her head.
As Eternals, our bodies cannot be destroyed even by another Eternal. In order to seal me in this world, they had to separate my essence from my body. In my current state, I do not have the power to return to the void, much less regain my body. Your essence, so something like your soul, can't you just make another body like cultivators who reach God ascension can do? Make another body? Don't compare ours to your fragile shells.
She sneered.
They cannot simply be recreated. Even if it were possible, it would take trillions of years. Then what are your plans? Leave this world and regain my body.
She calmly said. Yuan raised an eyebrow.
Isn't that basically what I said? Yes. I didn't say you were wrong. How are you going to achieve that without a body? Don't tell me you're going to use Mu Shiuelian.
Yuan frowned.
That is exactly what I am going to do. I protected and cultivated their tribe for countless years for a reason.
Shiva said in a firm tone.
Nothing is free in this world. What if I place your essence in another place and help you regain your body? Like a soul weapon, which can hold souls.
Yuan asked. She said flatly.
I won't repeat myself. Do not apply the logic of this world to my existence. No soul weapon can contain my essence. The only reason I can inhabit this girl is because of her unique physique, which I have cultivated for countless years. Even if you unseal me, I will not be able to go anywhere without this girl.
Unsure of how to respond, Yuan remained silent.
Now that I've told you everything, what is your answer?
Shiva spoke a moment later.
Of course, I am not asking your help for free. If you free me, I will not only help you evolve your physique, but I will even show you the full potential of your physique. What do you even know about my physique? You mean the heaven refining physique?
Shiva said with a profound smile.
Or should I call it the eternal constitution? The what?
Yuan stared at her, his eyes wide with disbelief. 2169 Eternal Constitution.
Eternal constitution, you say?
Yuan swallowed nervously. A cold smile tugged at Shiva's lips as she spoke.
You don't even know about the eternal constitution, and you dare claim that I don't know anything about your physique? I don't know how you came to possess the heaven-refining physique, but it is basically an inferior version of the eternal constitution, a physique that only belongs to Eternals. It is also because of your physique that you're able to use heaven's supremacy. Otherwise, your body wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Yuan fell silent. He'd acquired the heaven-refining physique due to a fateful encounter with a treasure in the primordial era. However, he didn't know anything about its origin until now. So it turned out to be related to the outer gods, he sighed inwardly.
Free me from my seal, and I shall teach you how to use the heaven-refining physique to its true potential.
Shiva repeated her offer. After pondering for a moment, Yuan spoke.
Before I give you an answer, I'd like to ask you another question. If you want any more information from me, you'll have to accept my offer. Otherwise, I won't say another word.
She responded in a firm tone. However, Yuan ignored her words and continued asking his question.
Do you know an Eternal by the name of Shura?
Shiva's eyes widened abruptly, surprise flashing across her face.
Shura, you said?
She muttered. Seeing her reaction, Yuan continued.
I'll assume you know him, judging by your reaction. Now my real question is, are you friends or foes with Shura?
After a moment of silence, Shiva opened her mouth and spoke.
Why does my relationship with another Eternal matter to you, a human? It's very important, but I cannot tell you until you give me an answer.
Just in case Shiva planned on lying, Yuan retrieved the grail of truth. Shiva narrowed her eyes at the treasure and sneered inwardly. Does he really think such a toy would work on me? I don't like how he's constantly underestimating me, but I need his help to free me from this place.
Shura, It has been a long time since I last heard that name.
A flicker of nostalgia crossed Shiva's face as she spoke.
He's my twin. What?
Yuan's eyes widened upon hearing this shocking revelation.
Twin, as in siblings? Eternals can be siblings? Does that mean you also have a parent?
Shiva shook her head and explained.
We are twins because we were born at the same time and in the same area. Eternals are being born from the universe itself. And if we are all born from the same source, we are technically all siblings. Of course, not every Eternal sees it this way. Anyway, since we were born in the same place, we naturally grew up together. That said, we're neither allies nor foes with each other. He's something akin to a neighbor. Sounds complicated.
Yuan muttered.
Does my answer satisfy your question?
Shiva then asked.
Yes, it does. Then what is your answer? My patience is limited. If you continue to test me, I will kill you even if you are the key to my freedom. I simply need to wait longer, until the other Eternals destroy this world.
Yuan fell silent after hearing her last words.
You heard that right. There are Eternals who want to destroy this world. However, that's all I'm going to say.
Yuan didn't become silent because he was shocked to learn that Eternals were trying to destroy the 9 heavens, as he'd known this since the primordial era. Sometime later, Yuan sighed.
All right, I'll free you.
Shiva's expression immediately brightened. You won't regret your decision.
So what am I supposed to do?
He asked. Shiva pointed at the ice above him again and said.
It's quite simple. All you need to do is destroy that block of ice with eternal essence, or what you call heaven's supremacy.
Yuan's eyes lingered on the block of ice, his expression calm yet resolute. In the next breath, he drew number 1 under heaven, its blade shrouded in the golden radiance of heaven's supremacy, and unleashed a strike against the frozen monolith. Yet the ice not only repelled his sword, it even dispersed the golden aura surrounding it. Shiva sighed at the results and remarked.
As I figured, your eternal essence is too weak to break the seal. Is that all you got?
Yuan gave no reply to her remarks. Instead, he steadied himself for another attempt, carefully gathering the power of heaven's supremacy. When the time came, he invoked Absolute Dragon Awakening, his aura erupting as he delivered his most powerful strike. But even so, the block of ice remained untouched, and not even the faintest scratch marred its surface.
It doesn't matter how much you increase your mortal strength with techniques, or what martial techniques you use. The only thing that can damage the seal is eternal essence. So even if you increase your cultivation by 1,000,000 times, nothing will change until you strengthen your eternal essence. In other words, I have to evolve my physique, reach true immortal, and fully regain my ability to use heaven's supremacy before I can break your seal. Then you'll have to wait a little longer. I was just on the verge of a breakthrough before your interference. And how long will that take?
Shiva asked.
Who knows? But it shouldn't be too long.
Without another word, Yuan resubmerged his body in the pond and closed his eyes, continuing his cultivation. A moment later, he opened his eyes and asked.
Are you going to possess Mu Shuoyan's body until I free you?
Shiva didn't immediately respond. She looked at her own palm and mumbled after a moment of silence.
This girl's body is reaching its limits, so I'll have to leave for now. I'll see you again soon.
Mu Shuoyan's eyes suddenly returned to normal, and her body collapsed the next instant. 2170 True Immortal.
Hey, are you okay?
Yuan hurried out of the pond and rushed to Mu Shuoyan's side, finding her drenched in sweat and gasping for breath. After catching her breath, Mu Shuoyan lifted her head to glare at him.
Who are you?
She muttered.
I'm Yuan.
He instantly replied.
You know that's not what I meant. You know what? Forget it.
Though Shiva had possessed her, Mu Shuoyan had remained conscious the entire time, seeing and hearing everything that transpired throughout their conversation. Mu Shuoyan quietly climbed back onto the ice bed and began cultivating. Seeing that she was fine, Yuan returned to the pond and continued his cultivation. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed. Your true cold harmony has developed into flawless cold harmony. Progress, 100%. Harmonious heaven refining immortal physique, completed, has fulfilled all requirements for a breakthrough. Harmonious heaven refining immortal physique, completed, has evolved into eternal constitution, incomplete. The instant Yuan's physique evolved, he could feel his bottleneck instantly being broken, and his cultivation surged all the way to the peak of true immortal. You have absorbed enough immortal chi for a breakthrough. You have met the requirements for a breakthrough. You have reached true immortal. You have completed the unique quest. You have discovered the existence of eternal essence. Your understanding of eternal essence has increased drastically. You have learned eternal essence. Eternal essence. Rank? Mastery level? Description: an otherworldly power wielded only by. Yuan opened his eyes after reaching true immortal and learning eternal essence. Within his gaze flickered a profound radiance, vast and unfathomable, like the reflection of a secret that belonged solely to the universe. Mu Shuoyan, who had been cultivating on the ice bed for the entire time, also opened her eyes upon noticing Yuan's movements. Yuan stood from the pond and tilted his head to gaze at the ice. He retrieved number 1 under heaven and prepared for his third attempt. This time, instead of using Absolute Dragon Awakening or other martial techniques, Yuan focused solely on his eternal essence. Silence lingered for only a moment before a golden brilliance surged from Yuan's form, flooding the cavern with light. With a swift motion, he raised his sword and swung it at the ice in a strike so powerful it shook the cavern to its core. Mu Hanyan and Chief Mu, who had been waiting for them outside, sensed the tremble and were immediately startled by it.
Heavens! What was that?
Chief Mu exclaimed. Mu Hanyan looked at the ground and muttered.
It came from below. What the hell are they doing down there?
Chief Mu swallowed nervously. As curious and worried as she was, there was nothing either of them could do but wait. Meanwhile, underground, Yuan stared at the ice with a dumbfounded look on his face. Despite reaching true immortal and regaining his ability to use eternal essence, he was only able to put a faint scratch on the ice.
Don't tell me I waited an entire year just for this pitiful progress.
Mu Shuoyan's voice suddenly echoed in the cavern. Yuan turned to look at Mu Shuoyan, who was staring at him. However, when he saw that her eyes appeared normal, he asked.
Did Shiva ask you to say that?
Mu Shuoyan quietly nodded. Yuan sighed.
At least I can damage the ice now. If I keep at it, it should eventually break. Huh, at this rate, it'll take you thousands of years to break the seal, she said.
Mu Shuoyan relayed.
Then do you have any suggestions? Maybe you can teach me how to improve my eternal essence. Eternal essence isn't something that can be taught. However, I do have a way to improve its strength, and that is to.
Mu Shuoyan suddenly halted her sentence, her eyes wide with disbelief.
What did Shiva say?
Yuan asked. After a moment of awkward silence, Mu Shuoyan finally spoke.
If you want to strengthen your eternal essence, cultivate with this girl and refine her essence, is what Lord Shiva said. What kind of nonsense are you spewing?
Yuan asked with a dumbfounded look on his face.
It's not nonsense. Your heaven-refining physique isn't limited to treasures and energies. You can also refine other things. For example, this girl's essence.
Yuan narrowed his eyes at Shiva's words.
Isn't that just dual cultivation?
Yuan asked with a raised eyebrow.
It's not the same thing. You'll be doing more than just absorbing her energy and improving your cultivation. You'll be refining her essence into eternal essence. What even is this essence that you're talking about? It's not her soul, right? Everything in this universe is made of essence, from humans to treasures. And for us Eternals, it's eternal essence. So when you wield that power, you're essentially turning your own existence into your power. Don't mistake it for spiritual energy because it's not the same thing. The stronger one's influence in the universe is, the denser their essence. Turning my own existence into my power? That's confusing as hell.
Yuan remarked.
Does that mean if I use too much eternal essence, I could erase my existence? Yes, it's possible. Fuck, you should have told me something that important earlier.
Yuan exclaimed.
What are you worried about? You have the heaven-refining physique, so you can always replenish your essence. That's not the issue here.
Yuan sighed. He continued after realizing something.
Hold on. If you're asking me to refine Mu Shuoyan's essence, aren't you basically asking me to refine her existence? I'm not going to do that. While you can definitely erase her existence if you refine too much of her essence, she'll be fine as long as you don't do that. You are also underestimating how much essence a human being carries. What about injuring her? Would it affect her talent or health? It will affect her talents, and depending on how much you refine, it could also affect her health. And why does it require us to dual cultivate? Isn't this something meant for Eternals? As Eternals, we can refine essence with nothing but will alone.
Shiva explained.
But you are human, and for humans, it is easier and far safer to refine another human's essence through dual cultivation, since your bodies are directly connected. You can't be serious.
Yuan sighed as he rubbed his eyes in a stressful manner.
What's with this weird development?
Congratulations, you have